Here's a bold statement. True wealth has almost nothing to do with the size of your bank account and everything to do with mindset, purpose, and inner peace. But here's where it gets controversial. The people we often assume are wealthy because of their flashy lifestyles are usually just performing, chasing validation instead of building lasting value. So, what separates the ultra-wealthy from the performative rich? Let's dive into the habits that define real wealth, and trust me, this is the part most people miss. In my 20s, I spent years working in luxury hospitality, catering to individuals who wielded not just money, but power, the kind that could shift the course of a business deal over a quiet dessert. This experience taught me that wealth isn't about flaunting designer labels or private jets. It's about something far deeper. And this is the part most people miss. The ultra-wealthy aren't focused on looking rich, they are focused on staying wealthy. Over time, I noticed distinct patterns. Certain habits consistently separated those who built enduring wealth from those who merely pretended to have it. Here are 10 of those habits, unpacked for clarity and expanded with real-world examples. 1. They don't need to prove anything. The truly wealthy rarely feel compelled to showcase their riches. They don't need to flash logos or post curated photos of their lavish lifestyles. Why? Because they are secure in their wealth. Take, for instance, one of the first billionaires I served at a resort. He wore old loafers and a plain white polo, yet his net worth was 9 figures. When asked about his simple attire, he smiled and said, "I like to save my taste for the things that matter." That line stuck with me. While the performative rich obsess over appearing successful, the ultra-wealthy focus on being comfortable in their own skin. 2. They value privacy over attention. In an age where oversharing is the norm, ultra-wealthy families do the opposite. Their social media accounts are either private or non-existent, and their homes are tucked away, designed for living, not for photo ops. I once organized a dinner for a family whose wealth rivaled that of small countries. You'd expect extravagance, but they requested no photos, no press, and no public acknowledgement. That night, it hit me, when you have real wealth, attention becomes a liability, not a reward. 3. They think in decades, not days. Most people chase quick wins, but the ultra-wealthy play the long game. Whether it's investing, building businesses, or raising children, they are guided by patience and perspective. They understand compounding, not just in money, but in habits. I overheard a client once tell his son, the best time to start anything meaningful was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. It wasn't financial advice, it was a mindset. Performative wealth seeks instant results, but enduring wealth knows that time is the ultimate asset. 4. They delegate, but never disconnect. Here's something surprising. Ultra-wealthy families delegate everything except awareness. They have assistants, accountants, and managers, but they stay deeply informed. They review statements, ask detailed questions, and read contracts. I met a matriarch who could recite the average monthly expenses for each of her properties across 3 continents. She didn't manage them day to day, but she was never out of the loop. That's the difference between control and responsibility. The performative rich outsource their thinking, the ultra-wealthy stay informed. 5. They treat relationships like capital. Ever notice how some people make everyone in the room feel important? That's not luck, it's a skill. The ultra-wealthy are masters at nurturing relationships. They don't network, they invest in people. At a charity gala, a tech founder I'd served multiple times spent 15 minutes talking to a waiter about his hometown. Months later, he remembered the waiter's name. That's not performative kindness, it's genuine connection, building trust and opportunities that money can't buy. The performative rich look for transactions, the ultra-wealthy build relationships that last generations. 6. They protect their energy. One universal truth about the ultra-wealthy is that they guard their time and energy fiercely. They say no, a lot. No to time-wasting meetings, no to drama, and no to emotional drainers. During a retreat, a client told me, money can buy almost anything, except bandwidth. Protect yours. True wealth isn't just about having options, it's about having clarity. 7. They stay grounded through rituals. You might think the ultra-wealthy live in constant novelty, but most crave consistency. They have morning routines, weekly family dinners, and annual vacations to the same spot. Why? Because rituals ground them, bringing structure to lives that could easily spiral into chaos. One client started every day with the same breakfast, Greek yogurt, honey, and black coffee. When I asked why, he said, predictability is peace. The performative rich chase stimulation, the ultra-wealthy build rhythm. 8. They keep learning. It's almost cliché, but it's true, the ultra-wealthy never stop learning. I've seen CEOs read biographies of leaders outside their industry, attend lectures incognito, and take notes like students. Warren Buffett once said, "The more you learn, the more you earn." But for the ultra-wealthy, learning isn't just financial, it's emotional and intellectual insurance against stagnation. They are curious, humble, and open-minded. Meanwhile, the performative rich act like they already have all the answers. 9. They align money with meaning. One of the biggest differences I've noticed is this. The ultra-wealthy use money to amplify what matters to them. They don't spend just to spend, they spend with intention. A family I worked with donated millions annually, but you'd never read about it in the press. They did it because they believed their wealth came with responsibility. In contrast, I've seen new money types blow through fortunes on exotic cars and parties, only to feel emptier with each purchase. Real wealth isn't about excess, it's about alignment. 10. They stay calm when others panic. Finally, and maybe most importantly, the ultra-wealthy remain composed when the world gets messy. During economic downturns or global crises, they don't freak out, they adapt. I once watched a client lose millions overnight during a financial dip. Instead of spiraling, he poured himself a drink and said, "It's just numbers. What matters is how I respond." That level of composure isn't natural, it's trained. It comes from experience, discipline, and understanding that panic costs more than patience ever will. The performative rich react emotionally, the ultra-wealthy act strategically. The bottom line, true wealth isn't about how much you have, it's about how you think. It's the discipline to play the long game, the humility to keep learning, and the wisdom to stay grounded. It's choosing privacy over performance, purpose over prestige, and peace over constant pursuit. You don't need a trust fund to live that way, you just need intention. Because in the end, the richest people I've met aren't the ones with the most, they are the ones who need the least to feel content. Now, here's a thought-provoking question for you. Do you think true wealth is attainable for anyone, or is it reserved for those born into privilege? Share your thoughts in the comments, let's spark a conversation.